Good. Oh yeah, DeepWaterMMA.com. We are back.
Nice.
After over a month away between various vacations, summer breaks, non-events there after a while.
Blackouts.
And, blackouts, whatever was happening.
Junk nights.
Yeah, so we're back here in the
Cage
DeepWaterMMA.com Fort Pierce studios. It's a sunny day today.
Our North Hutchinson Island studios.
The weather update. It's really nice out.
It's not raining today.
It's not raining.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been raining a lot.
I didn't know if we were in Seattle or Florida there for a while. I couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah.
I started to write poems and things like that, you know?
You're getting depressed?
Yeah.
Getting emotional? Yeah. Well, we're back. It's been a couple of weeks. Just want to remind everybody to check the website later this week, definitely before fight night for our best bet. We're bringing that back for this one. We're also bringing back the Parlez-Vous, I think, and we'll have our staff picks going. So we'll have all the stuff that you need to make good decisions.
Yeah.
Come Saturday night, along with your your various other resources.
If you're listening to the podcast, you obviously have seen the website. I would say that kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know that there is good information on that site. Just look at read through it and decide what you think's gonna work for you.
Yeah, yeah. That's
got a lot of winners, man. You could sit here and talk shit and say, "Oh, we're good," but we've got a lot of winners. Yeah, that's just the way it is. That's just the fact.
And I actually think we're getting better at it. You know, we're learning from our mistakes. We've only been doing this less than a year, and I think maybe we're sort of honing our skills a little bit here through the months. So
we're maturing.
We're
like a little teenager, you know.
Yeah, we're growing up. We're coming of age here.
We just drank our first beer.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Tasted weird.
So it's been a couple of weeks. Any highlights, notable things you just want to have a quick comment on? Because we haven't even really seen each other that much.
No,
for a while.
We've been away.
Yeah.
What was the last event? Refresh my memory.
God, it was a couple weeks ago. It was
wow.
A fight night? It was a fight night.
Shot. We are completely shot.
It was a fight night.
Teixeira.
That's right.
And Ryan Bader.
There was so many in a row that I couldn't even think straight.
That was a good fight. That was a great fight. Ryan Bader caught Teixeira a few times.
Yeah.
And but you could tell Teixeira was just keeping like his form tight, and he was
wobbled. He was definitely wobbled.
He was keeping his technical punches, tight and crisp, and short little hooks, and caught him with a right and then a left.
Yeah. That was a nice round and a half, however long that was.
That was a great.
That was a solid effort by both guys.
I would say that was less than 3 minutes. It was like 2 minutes or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It felt like a long 2 minutes because they were just hitting each other and stumbling each other. But Anthony, we have a new champion since the last time we've spoken.
That's right.
Anthony Pettis.
A lot of stuff went down, man.
Anthony Pettis won by first round armbar, which
that's what I wanted to talk about.
What the hell was that?
It's so hard to pick nowadays.
It's getting harder, yeah.
Tell me one motherfucker out there that said Anthony Pettis first round armbar on Benson Henderson.
Yeah. No.
After their two wars that they had, or their first war that they had, or two wars. Their first war that they had, you're thinking it was going to, that was my thing, you think it was going to be another war.
Yeah.
But...
And Benson Henderson goes 5 rounds every time.
Every time. He never gets submitted. He's been in nasty chokes.
That was a weird night.
Roommate Chris. Shout out.
Shout out. Any other major highlights from the last couple of events? I'm kind of... Off the top of my head, there's so much that it's almost too much to think about.
I think we need to look.
Pettis was the big one.
We need to focus on the future, man.
Let's look to the future here.
It's been a crazy past month with all the fights.
Yeah.
Month and a half, whatever.
Yeah.
With
it's a lot to digest.
That was a lot of fights. That was a good run.
Yeah. It was also a good time maybe to take a break from it for a minute, not overwhelm yourself. I feel like that's kind of what I did a little bit. So we have UFC 165 coming up this weekend from Toronto, Canada. Remember that when you're looking at where these guys are from. But UFC 165 with the rare 2-title 2 title fights on this card.
2 title headliner, yeah.
It's not even like a holiday or anything. Sometimes, they save this for July 4th
I wonder
or
if it's Dana's
Memorial
birthday.
Day or something like that. Yeah, maybe it's Dana's. We'll have to check that out. Get the research team on that one. But
is it Toronto Fest?
Toronto Fest. 2 title fights. 2 really huge favorites in those title fights. We'll start with the light heavyweight championship. John Bones Jones, 18-1. On Bovada, at least, he was minus 800. You can do better than that on other sites. But just to give you an idea of how big of a favorite John Jones is, minus 800, that's 8-1. I think that's a little out of whack. But Gustafsson, the challenger, coming in, he's 15-1. He's a pretty big underdog in this one. Is this the toughest matchup yet for John Jones? What do you think of that idea? Because that's how they're pushing it.
Right.
He's as tall as John Jones, therefore
Yeah.
This will be his hardest fight. Are you buying the?
You know what? I thought I read somewhere that John Jones has. It's like kind of disputed, but he has like a 6-inch reach advantage or something. And they said at least 3 inches.
Yeah.
They said as much as 8 or something. I was like, what? What does that mean?
John Jones's arms actually have different lengths that he can adjust his arms. No, I don't know.
I know.
You're right. There's been some discrepancy.
He's like that doll I had when I was a kid.
It's like he can't figure it out.
Where you like stretch Armstrong. You know, you just pull his legs out as long as you want them.
It's part of the superhero quality that goes with John Jones, that he can sort of stretch his arms.
Right.
But yeah, there's his reach. He has a reach advantage, whether it's 2.5 or 8 inches. Somewhat up for debate depending on your sources, but I'm going to lean towards the longer reach advantage. I just think he has those long arms.
I mean, if you compare to what I like to do sometimes is when it starts to get close matchup-wise with height and all that, you can look at past opponents who they both fought. They both fought Shogun, right? Gustafsson decisions Shogun in 3 rounds.
Yeah.
John Jones just destroys Shogun.
Thrashed him.
Bad.
I just remember...
The worst of his career. The worst of his career by far.
I still remember where I was watching that,
I mean,
because Shogun was the champion at that point.
Yeah, he was a badass
and he lost pretty bad that time. Yeah.
I don't see Gustafsson as being the biggest challenge yet. I think it's too early in Gustafsson's career, and I think he's just he's gonna have a good game plan because he comes from that. I think it's Alliance MMA over there. Yeah, and they got really good game plans. That's where Phil Davis trains. Okay, and just really smart fighters coming out of there. Really smart head coach. Yeah, I think that'd be good. And it'd be a tough fight. It'd be a good game plan for for Alexander Gustafsson. They'll have a solid game plan, is what I mean. I don't know if it'll be good because I think John Jones is gonna negate that by he's gonna use his reach, clinch him up, and I think he's gonna wrestle him. You know what's funny? The other day, I just had this. Alexander Gustafsson's going to get hurt in the 3rd round. That's my prediction. Get hurt? That's my prediction.
Not like he's going to...
TKO due to injury. Yeah? 3rd round.
That is like a prophecy if that comes true.
It came to me.
It just came to you. I
see him getting hurt somehow. It's going to be a cut. It's going to be
something weird like that.
TKO 3rd round. Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's either going to be a TKO by John Jones because of punches and elbows. Yeah. Or Gustafsson's getting hurt in the 3rd round. That just came to me. So I'm just going to go with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I might have been under the influence of certain things at the time.
Like a shaman. And people respect shamans.
But
I think
I'm still going to stick with it. Yeah,
sticking with it.
Oh, man.
I personally respect shamans. I mean, how do you do drugs as a professional person?
Thank you.
Predict people's futures.
Thank you.
But nice call.
Oh, that's my nickname.
The Shaman?
The Shaman.
That's good, dude.
Sweet, huh?
Nice. I like that.
We just do that?
Yeah, we just did that.
Nice.
We're going to keep that going. John Jones, he's got a 9-fight winning streak going. He hasn't really looked threatened by anybody except for that one random Vitor Belfort armbar. Yeah. Which, for a half a second, my heart rose. But other than that moment, Jones hasn't really been super challenged by anybody. As far as these odds go, I agree with you. I think Jones is baiting Gustafsson a little bit. I think some of the lead up to this has been about Gustafsson's footwork and how fast his hands are and how many combos he can throw and stuff like that. And I think Jones kind of maybe is setting him up a little bit here for just a grapple fest. I think Jones is going to come in and almost like Chael Sonnen in the first minute.
That too, yeah.
Just try to take Gustafsson down and just beat him up.
That's what Gustafsson does good. Yeah. His footwork and all his reach, If you just take that away, what's he got?
So
He's not great on the ground.
No, I haven't seen anything. I don't have any.
He got submitted by Phil Davis. That's
Right.
his one loss.
Right.
So.
And I don't see any. Like in my head, I have no like great memories of Gustafsson. I know he's 15-1. I know he's won a lot of fights, and he's tall and all these different things. I think his tallness gets like overhyped when you think about who he is as a fighter. I mean, I don't think he has any like super amazing skills.
You know what?
Like, I don't know. I might be underrating him, but I just feel like in my head, I'm like, I don't even know. I can't even think of
He's
a highlight.
Good boxer. He's
I can't even think of a highlight of Gustafsson.
He's a really good boxer. He's got a couple nice. Jared Hammond was his first UFC fight.
Right.
He knocked him out. That's a pretty good highlight. You see that?
Yeah.
He's got some good ones against Shogun. A few good it's all stand up. It's always boxing. He
Right.
comes from an amateur boxing background. This is the problem with Alexander Gustafsson. He has to fight John Jones.
Yeah.
You know, he'll
It's a
be.
problem
I
for
think
anybody.
Yeah, that's what I think. He's John Jones style fighter. He's John Jones 1.0. You know.
Okay, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, not that he's a similar fighter, but I just don't think he's progressed yet.
Yeah.
I think John Jones is just a freak. He progressed so fast.
Yeah, that's
know?
true. Yeah.
I think Gustafsson beats probably anybody but John Jones.
Wow, he'll be that guy just kind of chomping at the bit all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
Mendez.
Yeah, he'll be the Chad Mendez or like even at this point like the Uriah Faber of this division maybe.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a John Jones TKO at some point. I think Gustafsson makes it interesting for the first round. I think we're going to be sitting at home watching the first round going, oh, that was close. That was interesting. Gustafsson maybe will avoid a takedown or two and kind of keep it standing. But I don't think he'll do any damage necessarily. So I think in the end, you're right. I think John Jones is going to get him down to the ground. I think he's going to kind of smother him, beat him up a little bit, and eventually get that TKO.
Sweet.
That might be a good bet, actually. As far as the odds go, I think John Jones, depending on where you're looking, is maybe too large of a favorite, you know, because of, like, last time he broke his toe, if that went another round, like, Chael Sonnen would have won. So there's all these random things that could potentially happen.
That's the problem with betting on MMA.
And it's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
You got to pick and choose your fights to really bet on.
Yeah.
And I don't like betting on big... I don't always look at the headliner, you know, as the one to make money on.
Yeah.
You find your money line somewhere else.
Yeah.
Somebody with a better value.
Yeah.
Sometimes, though, such as the cases like Chris Weidman,
Right.
you need to really look at when guys are getting too big for their britches. I don't think John Jones is there yet.
Right.
He hasn't started showboating and stuff. You know,
Yeah,
if you ever see that, if you start to see that
That's a
too
good
much,
point.
think of Anderson Silva, you know, and Chris Weidman, because I remember he was a huge underdog.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, imagine if you put $100. Imagine if you put $20 on someone who's you know, I mean, you're getting $100,
underdog, yeah.
$200-300 off of $20.
Yeah, and it happens.
That's not too bad, man.
And the thing to remember is that it does happen. It's
Would
not
you
like,
lost $20, you
Right.
know, or you're going to gain $300 or something because the odds are so horrible against, you know, sometimes the challengers of people who are fighting the champions.
Right. Yeah, and Gustafsson is not a dude to
Especially-
just really
I'm sorry.
totally sleep on, but
Especially with the championship fights.
Yeah.
You'll see they'll be, I mean, look, minus 800. You don't see that unless it's a championship fight.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
The highest you might see is 400, 500.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
won't even go that high.
That's a good point too. No, you're totally right. So maybe a little overhyped. I still think Jones will win. He might be good in a parlay with some other fighters. You might also look at the method of finish, which might have somewhat better odds. Maybe John Jones by TKO. I don't imagine this going to a decision.
If you really
John Jones by submission is even a
If
possibility.
you really love somebody in MMA, the
something
best,
ground related for
the
John
best
Jones.
thing to do is to parlay.
Yeah.
If you love a couple fights, if you're like, I know John Jones is gonna win.
Yeah, yeah.
You put him in a parlay, and that's how you're gonna make money. Otherwise, you won't make.
Yeah, it's not
You're gonna have to
worth
put
it.
up a lot of jack to get
Yeah.
you know nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Let's we'll keep moving down the card here to the second title fight on UFC 165. This would be a bantamweight matchup at 135. Renan Barao, 30-1. He won. By the way, that one loss was his very first fight ever.
How's that record? Yeah,
He lost
sick.
his first fight ever, and then won 30.
29 straight.
He's now
Or
won
30
29.
straight, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
30
30 in a
straight.
row. He's gone for 31 straight. It's kind of a nutty streak that he's on. He's taken on Eddie Wineland, who's 20-8 with one draw or no contest. Barao is a big favorite in this one. Not quite as big as John Jones, but still pretty large. Minus 650. Eddie Wineland, a pretty large underdog, plus 425. I don't think this one's a hard one to pick, honestly. Right?
You know what, though? I really like Eddie Wineland.
I like Eddie Wineland, too.
I remember
go ahead.
the first time I saw Eddie Wineland.
But, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I saw Eddie Wineland fight was in the WEC, and he was fighting for the title, and I'm pretty sure he was fighting Chase Beatty, which is a name.
Remember that guy?
Yeah, a name a lot of people probably don't know, but so I've seen him fight a lot, man. I've seen all his UFC fights. You know, I've seen a lot of his WEC fights, and the guy comes to fight, and he's tough as shit. Like he gets beat up sometimes, and he keeps coming forward. I think he's going to end up taking a lot of punishment from Renan Barão, and I think Renan Barão's going to finish him.
I think so too.
Because if he, I think Michael McDonald's the top of the class. You know,
that was a great fight.
Yeah, and if he can finish Michael McDonald,
nothing
against Eddie Wineland.
I didn't see that coming.
I'd like to see Eddie Wineland and Michael McDonald, but I think Renan Barão's going to win. He's going to run away with it, kind of. He's going to be too much for Wineland. But Wineland's a big, tall dude, man. He's strong, too, for 135
The first
pounds.
round should be interesting, if Wineland's going to win it, you know, or if Wineland's going to make a case or get his momentum going. It's got to start in the first round because Barão. This is what I don't have with Gustafsson that I do have with these other guys is that I have Barão. I have memories of Barão just shutting down Uriah Faber. You know,
wasn't even close.
It was just Faber by round 3 or whatever. By round 2, didn't know what to do anymore. He didn't know how to attack him.
It was an exciting fight.
Yeah.
Because he was so Floyd Mayweather-ish. Kind of.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean?
That's
just
a great
very defensive.
That's a great way to say it.
You know, enough offense to really keep the guy frustrated, but not getting hit.
And you end up hitting his shoulders or his forearms or something. You're not really hitting him clean anywhere.
He's got a good reach too, man. He's got them long monkey arms like John Jones. Man.
That seems to be a fantastic skill to have.
I know, man. You better have long arms.
If you have long arms, then you've got an advantage. But I'm taking Renan Barão here. He's got 14 wins by submission, and Eddie Wineland has half of his losses are by submission. I feel like that kind of matches up well. I think the first round could be interesting. I think once Barão gets it to the ground, though, he's gonna be all over Eddie Wineland, stuck to him, just on his back, hands wrapped around his waist. Wineland won't know what to do, or at least won't be able to get out of it, you know. But as long as it's standing, Wineland has a chance. But I don't see this one standing too long.
So you're both picking in the co-main and the main. We're both
siding with the favorites. Possible parlay action there if you can find some good value on either one of those. But yeah,
brave.
We're not exactly sticking our necks out here. I think for Gustafsson and Wineland, if you're looking at them both together, they would need something to happen in the stand-up department. You know, each of them would have to connect with some kind of blow that changes the momentum of the fight or something. Jones and Barão are both they're so good.
MMA, that can happen.
It can totally happen. Anything can happen.
You know, I'm picking this fight, but if either of them win, I'm not going to go, wow, that was completely... I didn't see that.
Yeah, who actually...
I would have went, okay, yeah, that happens.
Here's a good question. Who would you be more surprised to see win, Gustafsson or Wineland?
Gustafsson.
Like, what would be a bigger shock?
Gustafsson
Would be a bigger shock for you?
Yeah, just because I think John Jones is
for me, it would be
the
Wineland.
biggest guy in MMA.
Yeah.
Who's a bigger name than John Jones right now?
No, totally not. Nobody.
He's with Nike and all that.
Oh, yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah. He's the name in MMA. So if he loses,
that would be shocking.
And nothing against Renan Barão, but he's Brazilian.
Yeah.
In Brazil, he's probably huge, but here in the United States, John Jones is the man.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, that's a totally good point.
Even though Renan Barão's 30-1.
Yeah.
You know, and John Jones is I think 9-1 or 8-1 in the UFC, right?
Well, he had that one disqualification loss to Matt Hamill where he was kicking the shit out of Matt Hamill.
I think
he's undefeated.
He's either 9-0 or 10-0 in the UFC. Okay. Renan Barão has that many more wins on his record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than John Jones has fights in the UFC.
Yeah.
You know, so you'd think you'd be talking more about Renan Barão, you know, because he is a badass too. But John Jones is the man right now.
Yeah.
And the bigger classes is what people identify with. It's hard to, guys 135 pounds.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
Not many guys out there are 135 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Well, two pretty two pretty certain winners there in the first two fights. But this next one down, heavyweight matchup, much more of a toss-up. I still am not quite sure how I'm leaning on this one. We have Brendan Schaub, 9-3. He's minus 110, pretty much an even fight here, taking on Matt Mitrione, who's 6-2. Both of these guys peaked? Like, is this? I feel like they've kind of I feel like they've peaked. This is perfect for them.
Am I wrong, or did
whoever loses this is going back down for the rest of their career?
I feel like they're both the same guy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I think in the past I've confused them even.
I think they're both the same guy. You know, status-wise,
both football player, both ex-football players, both on
converted
tough
football players.
Both have some good wins.
I thought they both
have some bad losses.
Greg Jackson camp.
Maybe they were for a little while. I'm not sure.
That's why I heard.
You're better with the camps than
I
me.
heard Brendan Schaub talking today, and he doesn't. Apparently, they don't like each other at all.
Really? There's some bad blood here.
Real. Like he was saying, like for real. A lot of people just talk shit to IBW. He's like, I really don't like this dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't like him at all.
Maybe it goes back to the old football days, and they're just like, you know what? I'm the better football.
I'm the
MMA
football guy. You can't be me. I'm me.
Yeah. This is like a weird.
You can't be me. I'm me.
This is a very bizarre fight for me.
I'm gonna punch you in the face. You know what I see happening though?
Yeah. What do you see? Give us some unique insight.
So I see you got it written down here. Yeah. I don't have any notes.
I wrote a few things down.
But Dan is always prepared. I'm the most unprepared person ever. So his last fight. But thinking about it, I missed, was against LeVar Johnson.
Yep.
And he wrestle fucked him.
Yeah, wrestle. That's great. Has anyone said that before?
Dana White.
Oh, yeah?
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow I missed that.
Yeah, he wrestle fucked him.
That's exactly
That's what he did. He took him down and humped him the whole time.
Perfect description of that last fight.
He could do that to Matt Mitrione.
I think he could,
I don't think Matt Mitrione's a great wrestler.
No.
He's not.
He's not. No.
I'm pretty sure in Matt Mitrione's last fight, did he fight Roy Nelson?
He fought in April, and won against...
Okay. Real fast.
Yeah, he won in like 19 seconds. Phil DeFries.
Yeah,
who has no stand-up
The guy
whatsoever.
who just...
Yeah.
Did he just win?
Phil DeFries?
No, not Phil DeFries.
Nah, Phil DeFries is...
I'm sorry. Let's
Phil DeFries was exhausted after 15 seconds, and then Mitrione beat him in 19 seconds.
Who just came out and has pretty much no stand-up and knocked the Jiu-Jitsu world champion out? Yes.
Yeah, dude, I'm not...
Okay, hold on. Vinny Magalhaes.
Oh, yes. Anthony Perosh.
That's
how you're thinking of.
Anthony Perosh and Phil DeFries are, again, the same dude.
Yeah, that's
just
the same
like
guy.
Mitrione and Brendan Schaub.
Totally right.
They're like the same guy.
They should fight each other.
They have like no stand-up, barely. Well, apparently Perosh does now, though.
Well, he hit him. He hit him in the head. In the right spot.
I wish we had a cam. It's just like the worst punch you ever saw. I was like, guy just ran into it. He's like,
it's like he's sawing wood.
He's like looking over here. Oh, what? I knocked him down. Looking to the left.
It's like he's sawing wood in a garage
he's
somewhere.
like,
that's the motion of Anthony Perosh's punches.
He's got a one-handed saw. Yeah.
I think my big question for me is like, what kind of fight will this be? You mentioned already, like you feel like Schaub could just take Mitrione down and like kind of wrestle him. I think there's a lot of ways the fight could end up that way. They're both heavyweights, so you always got to be on the lookout for like flash knockouts and TKOs and weird stuff. Because the bigger these guys get, like the crazier all these little random things become.
Too light on their feet heavyweights.
They're athletic heavyweights. Yeah, they haven't had a ton of success, but they're athletic.
This type of fight could go two ways, and that's it, I think. It's going to be an exciting fight, or it's going to be boring as shit. Because I think Brendan Schaub is going to try to... You can see in his last fight, he's trying to get a better MMA guy.
Is it? I don't want to like rain on everyone's parade, because I think when you have two heavyweights, you expect them to come out and throw down a little bit.
Somebody get knocked out.
But I feel like Matt Schaub, as the sort of better wrestler, clincher, grappler... I wrote down fence smushing on my notes. This could, if Schaub can't get it to the ground.
You pulled the Cale, you said a Matt Schaub.
Oh, I said Matt Schaub? Oh.
So you mean Brendan?
Brendan Schaub. Sorry.
You pulled the Cale.
This could turn into a Schaub pressing Mitrione against the fence fight, where they just kind of like reverse position a few times.
He's going to try to wrestle him
People start to boo. Yep. And Mitrione makes a face into the camera halfway through. And then Schaub keeps pressing him and trying to get him down, and it doesn't quite work out. I don't really know. This is a hard one to predict, but I think you're right. I think Schaub seems to me to have the advantages in more areas than Mitrione does. You know, and especially on the ground. But then again, who knows? These guys are kind of these somewhat unknown commodities in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to kind of nail it down one way or the other.
Why do I want to say Mitrione like a Italian pizza maker? Mitrione! Mitrione!
Mitriones. That's going to be...
Mitrione!
If he's listening to the podcast, because he lives in Florida...
Can I get a meatball Mitrione? You know? Right?
That's a menu item at Mitrione's, you know, the place. Yeah. There's a lot of Christmas lights on the walls, I imagine.
Oh, yes.
Something like that, kind of.
A lot of Christmas
sort of dim
lights.
In there, you know? It's like a
very
sort
old
of a
salt
dimly
shakers.
lit Italian place. Yeah. That's what I'm imagining. Maybe after this fight,
Parmesan
that's
cheese
what
is
happens.
really hard.
Yeah.
Like, you have to break it with a knife.
But yeah, another thing, I'm keying in more and more on these guys' ages, and Matt Mitrione is 35. Brendan Schaub is 30.
He's a young buck. At 30.
Schaub is a little young. That's 5 years, you know. If it was 30 and 25, it might put it in different perspective. But like, Schaub's a little younger, has a few more fights, maybe a little bit more athletic, a little bit more going on the ground, and for me, that seems like an edge. So I don't know. It's a tough fight to call. I wouldn't go crazy on this one.
I'm gonna pick Brendan Schaub because I never liked Matt Mitrione after the Czech Congo fight. I thought he should have won that somehow, some way. Czech Congo's not that. Nothing against Czech Congo. He'd destroy me in 2 seconds, but he's not that great a fighter anymore. Right. You know, he doesn't have a great takedown defense. Matt Mitrione should have won
2010
that fight.
was probably Czech Congo's best.
That's what I'm saying.
Year,
he was already past his
there.
prime when Matt Mitrione fought him. Matt Mitrione's supposed to be coming into his prime. He didn't win that fight.
Right.
That's not a confidence booster. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he got knocked out, but he lost to Roy Nelson. I'm pretty sure he got TKO'd or knocked out.
I think he
so
was
did Brendan Schaub.
TKO'd.
This is the I got TKO'd by Roy Nelson fight.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with Brendan Schaub with this one. I'm leaning towards like sort of a boring clinch grapple fight. Although I hope it's better. I hope Mitrione comes at least to make it last a little while, you know. But yeah, I think I'm going Schaub on this one in a close fight that's maybe goes to the scorecards or maybe finishes late or something. But yeah. Let's keep going here. We have 2 fights left on the main card. I'm kind of excited about this next one. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm pretty psyched up about this one.
This is the best fight in the card.
Pat Healy, 29 and 16. He's been fighting. It seems like forever or something with that number of fights. He's a slight underdog here, almost like a 2-1 underdog, plus 195, taking on Khabib. Hang on a second, Nurmagomedov. There you go. I think that was good. Who is undefeated, 20-0. That actually surprised me. I've seen him fight. I've been impressed by him, but I never really recognized that he was totally undefeated. 20-0. He's a minus 250 favorite in this one. This should be a great fight. I'm looking forward to this fight.
I'll tell you something.
This might lead off the card, by the way. We might be going out of order.
This is, I think, one of the next champions is Khabib Nurmagomedov.
That's exactly how you say it.
That's
the right way to say that.
Nurmagomedov.
Has every letter of the alphabet in
Yes,
his name.
But anyways,
Only
I think
UFC
he's a future
fighter.
champ, man.
I do too.
He's
24.
I think he's gonna fight for the title. I like Pat Haley, man. I mean, the guy he's won 7 in a row, right? The only reason he hasn't fought lately is because he's coming off a marijuana suspension, which is bullshit.
Right.
That's stupid. That's the dumbest suspension you could ever get.
Can we digress for 1 second on that note?
Nevada?
Did you see that?
Yes. Raise the metabolite.
Raise the metabolites. Too bad they didn't do that before Pat Healy beat up Jim Miller and won because those metabolites cost him like $100,000,
wow.
which is an insane amount of money for normal
people. And then
people.
he's got to come back and fight Khabib, N.
Yeah, welcome back after your suspension.
Who is a bad mofo.
But maybe in some ways though, this matchup is the UFC, in their own way, sort of acknowledging, hey, you had a really awesome fight last time. We want to see what you're made of here. If you can beat Khabib Nurmagomedov, then maybe your title material possibly.
I think if you're Pat Healy, you got to look at that as a compliment.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Because to me at least, he's like the number 3 contender. I mean, you got to give Benson Henderson number 2. You got to give the champion who lost. All right, Anthony Pettis is the champ.
Yep.
Then Ben Sanders is the number 1 contender. I would say this guy's number 2 contender.
Nurmagomedov?
Yeah, I don't know what to put in front of him. 155 pounds.
It's
think
stacked
about
up.
it. I mean, it's
but
all stacked up. But
he's
he's
the most
20
exciting
and 0
as a contender.
prospect, I think.
Yeah.
He's the most exciting prospect at 155.
The other guys that you would consider as challengers to Pettis' title...
They're
TJ
having
Grant,
Josh Thompson.
TJ Grant's still injured. He's still got this concussion stuff.
Weird,
That's
huh?
kind
That or
of
he's
disconcerting in a way. Unless he's just being kind of strung along here.
Yeah.
But they're Josh Thompson the next time. That should be kind of a fun fight. I don't know what I think about Josh Thompson's chances, but there's a group of guys that are sort of been there around the block kind of guys in the 155 division, and Khabib, which I'm gonna go with Khabib now.
But that's a great point.
Yeah.
But these aren't 2 that have been around the block guys.
Right, exactly, and that's what's exciting about this fight because one of these guys,
on the block badass mother foes.
Yeah, one of these guys is going to emerge in that top 3, top 4 picture, and we're talking springtime next year, possible situation.
I don't
for
like
one of these guys,
I don't like the Josh Thompson Pettis fight. Not that I don't like it. I don't think Josh Thompson deserved it. What did he do?
It's a little random.
I don't even remember. He beat Nick
random.
Diaz, right?
Yeah,
Which is good, but I think
knocked out Nick Diaz.
You gotta win.
TKO'd him or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta
First
win.
one ever. That was a big win for Josh Thompson.
That was.
He looked great in that one fight.
I could
Right?
see how you could possibly do that, but I think, man, you gotta fight more than one time.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been to UFC. I mean, he's fought more than one time in UFC, but
There's a long
Anyways.
stretch. Anyway, how do you see this one going? I think this has
tough,
fight of the night
man.
potential.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's Khabib's.
Khabib by decision.
I think it's Khabib's toughest fight.
I think Khabib's gonna turn Pat Healy into a kebab.
Oh, I see what you did there.
See how I did that?
Nice. That was nice. Yeah. I think. What are Pat Healy's best
kebab.
traits? Right. He's tough. He's gritty. He can hang in a fight even if he's beat up.
Good on the ground.
He can scramble with you. He can kind
Real good
of. He can kind of get stuck on you a little bit. But we saw Nurmagomedov take down Abe Trujillo in his last fight. Just keep taking him down over and over and over again. Trujillo got really frustrated and all that, but that was the right thing. So that shows me a certain kind of fight IQ.
Let me tell you
know what I
something
mean?
too, man. People don't know about that Trujillo guy, Abel Trujillo.
Yeah.
He's super big for 155 pounds.
Yeah.
Super strong.
Yeah.
Very athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, to hold a guy down like that for 3 rounds is like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
dude.
and it's the right thing to do if you're him, too.
He's smart.
So he's smart. He's a 20-0 guy. He's 24 years old, but he's smart. And I was looking, too. I always like to see...
he's like 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they all
I mean,
look-
you could tell he's 24, but he's one of them guys that... I bet when he was 16, he looked 24.
Like Nogueira?
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, well, like... he's
Nogueira's collecting
like Carl
retirement.
Parisian or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or like one of those,
yeah.
he's fighting grown men when he's like 16, and he looks just like them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I was going to say, one of the things I like to look at is, like, how do these guys win and how do they lose? Because I think that gives you, like, tendencies, kind of. And Khabib looks like he can win anyway. He's got 7 wins by TKO. He's got 7 by sub. He's got 6 by decision. That's almost a 33.333% division between the different ways you can win a fight.
I guess he could lose any way, though, because he's never lost.
He's never lost. We don't know about that, right? But, yeah, I see Pat Healy with 6 losses by sub, 6 by decision. And I just see this fight as Khabib maybe he loses the first round, maybe, right? On a tough Pat Healy is excited, he's coming back, he's trying to get that money back, but I feel like the longer this goes, and I think it will go all 3 rounds, I think the longer this goes on, I think Khabib starts peppering him. You know, I think he peppers him, I think he wears him down, I think he maybe takes him to the ground, I think he gets the best of it.
It's also
through 3
hard
rounds
because
in a close fight.
You can
try wrestle fuck him.
He's gonna wrestle fuck him.
Not this
no
fight.
wrestle
I don't
fucking
think
in
so.
this fight.
Yeah.
You know what? It's hard to. You can sit here and say what a guy's done in the past, right?
Yeah.
What game plan does he have for this fight? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, Chael Sonnen came out and wrestled every dude he ever fought, and last time he came out and dropped for a guillotine.
Yeah.
Who's calling that?
Right.
You know, what if
Right.
Khabib? Why am I having?
Just
I know
Khabib.
his
We'll
name.
just
What if he does a flying armbar 30 seconds into it and pulls it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you never know, man. So I think he's gonna win.
I think so,
However it's
too.
gonna happen, he's gonna win.
I think he has more. I think he has more ways to win, and I think Pat Healy is just going
That's
to make
the way you gotta start looking at
like
it,
a
man.
valiant effort.
Who has the most potential
to win in different
to
areas,
win in different styles and everything?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, the thing with Khabib is his wrestling and his submissions and stuff are super underrated.
Yeah.
You know, because his Sambo background, man, them guys, they go at it in Sambo. Like, you don't train, like, you fight every day. You know, and that's where Fedor came from. That's where a lot of tough guys came from.
He should be able to hold his own. I'm going Khabib in this one. I think he's pretty good value there. Maybe, I don't know, minus 250. You might go Khabib, maybe by decision, because I think Healy's just one of those guys that's tough to put away.
Put him in that parlay like we were talking about.
Throw him in a parlay, possibly, right? All right, let's keep going down. Last fight on the main card here, Costa Philippou, 12-2. A slight favorite here, minus 190, taking on Francis Carmont from Paris, France. He's 21-7.
Francois Carmont.
Slight underdog, plus 155.
He's getting.
I really don't like Francis Carmont.
Yeah?
He pisses me off.
Really?
I think he's lost his last 2 fights, but he technically won them, I guess, if you're going by records. Do you remember this fight?
I like your.
There's a trend happening here in
like
UFC
your,
that I don't like.
Smush wins.
He's got a smush victory over Lorenz Larkin, who he took down once out of 18 tries. Once out of 18 tries. Carmont, the victor.
I think
it was so frustrating to watch that fight.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about this, because I've seen other fights like this. Jake Shields, Tyron Woodley was like this.
Yeah.
Carmont, Larkin was like this. There's probably been 1 or 2 other ones.
Jake Shields did win that fight.
I hate
That's right.
this shit. If you are trying for a takedown and you can't get it, you're losing.
Yeah.
That's how I see that.
The other guy
you're trying
won.
to get it on the
That's
ground,
right.
and you're still not
And
on
you
the
didn't do
ground,
it. Yes.
and you're losing the fight.
Yes.
Clearly, I'm upset with this. I was, I think, on the wrong end of both of those.
It went to a decision.
You know? Yeah, it went to a decision. They give it to Carmont for these sort of attempts at takedowns. I mean, a lot of dudes attempt to throw punches at dudes' heads, but they don't hit them.
Yeah.
So are we giving credit for that?
You know what I think happens?
It's very frustrating.
The judges get caught up on this aggression shit.
Was it split decision?
No, there
Yeah,
were
I
pretty
think
good decisions there.
It was unanimous by 29-28, unanimous, something along those lines. I don't remember exactly, but it just drives me crazy.
I think what it is you got the problem is you got these older judges who are actually boxing judges. 99% of the time they're judging boxing matches.
Yeah.
And
these are the guys giving Canelo Alvarez a draw.
That was
in that
crazy.
Fight. Like,
that was crazy. Sidetrack. That was nuts. That was retarded.
Like, are you serious?
That judge needs to be mentally evaluated.
Yeah, no, lobotomy. I think that's reasonable.
The lobotomy is very reasonable.
Put him in a room
case.
for a while. Yeah. Sorry, I got you off track.
No. I totally on track. I was saying I think that the judges sometimes mistake that as aggression.
Right.
Yeah, you can be aggressive. Doesn't matter who's the more aggressive fighter. If you're losing the fight.
Yeah.
You can be aggressive and come and running at me, but if I have to take a step back and I can punch you in the face every second, that doesn't mean you're winning.
Right.
You know, and if you're trying to take me down and I'm avoiding it, I'm winning that.
That's totally. I think you're psychotic, actually, if you think the other way on that. Like, if the dude pushing you into the cage is like winning somehow, even though he's trying everything and nothing's succeeding. How do you give that guy a win? Like, I think there's a screw loose in your brain.
You know what I think about this fight, though?
I have strong opinions on that kind of
Costa
fight.
Philippou is one of the stronger fighters.
Yeah, dude.
And big, well-built guy for 185 pounds.
Yeah.
I know he's got a big cut. He weighs like 220 pounds or something when he walks around. And I think he's going to catch Francis Carmont because Carmont's he's a submission guy, like submission wrestler, and that's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to take him down, and Costa's got a lot of skill. He's not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at his record. He's got a lot of KOs and TKOs and.
His record isn't like a vast record. Somehow Carmont has more fights than him, like a lot more, almost more. Double. But actually, it's exactly double.
You know what happens a lot with that? Like Francis Carmont, when you fight in smaller organizations, you fight more frequently.
Right.
Costa Philippou probably got in the UFC when he was
Yeah.
I don't know what's his record now.
He's
12-2.
Yeah.
He was probably 8-2 when he got in the UFC.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's had 4 fights or 5 fights.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible here.
Yeah.
6 fights in.
Solid math.
And yeah, great math there. In 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when that guy can have 6 fights in a year.
Yeah.
Or, you know, a year and a half in a smaller promotion.
Right.
So if you don't get in the UFC early, your record's going to be a little bit, you know, padded. Look at Renan Barral. He's only 26, 77 years, something like that.
Right, that's true.
He's 30, already had 30 fights, but he's only fought in the UFC 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. I'm going with Costa Philippou here. I have a clear bias against Francis Carmont. I think, though...
Dude, this guy's
putting the bias aside, I think Philippou still has more skills than...
This is our...
Are we going different directions here?
No, Deepwater MMA villain.
Yeah, I really don't like him. He's so... Are you kidding me?
Francis Carmont?
I really don't like him. I think...
I don't like him because his name's too French.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe a little too French, but I just hate...
Like, we know you're French, okay.
Oh, man. I just can't believe the way he fights is a valued way of fighting, you know? And I think...
It's not.
I think it's dangerous.
If
people like Jake Shields and Francis Carmont, who can't get a takedown in 20 tries, keep getting wins for trying, I think we're heading in like a weird direction that's going to it'll bleed out. Other fighters are sitting around going, "Oh, I can just try for takedowns for 20 minutes and win. Oh, well, then that's what I'm going to do, you know?" So I feel like that's going to create more... Yeah, I tried to punch the dude. You're not giving me any credit for that. But anyway, I think Philippou could be a little flaky in a certain way because he lost to Nick Catone in his first UFC fight, but he's won since then. But it's like, how do you know? I don't know. That wasn't that long ago. So it's like, I could see Carmont winning this fight. Like, I get how he could win. It'll be, if he does, I feel like it'll be another one of those really frustrating, like, Twitter frenzy wins where people are just don't understand.
It's hard to judge people in their first UFC fight, too.
Yeah.
If they do something spectacular in their first UFC fight, that's a good indication. But if they win poorly or lose, not spectacularly, lose a decision or something, you can't hold it too much against them usually. Because 9 times out of 10, that's just super jitters.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I mean, it's
a real thing for sure.
You seen Joe Rogan talk about it before. How he's talking about, man, you don't understand until you're at that arena near that cage. Everyone's looking at you. You've fought in little shows before, but you haven't fought in front of 30,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
Right in your face.
Camera in your face,
exactly. All that stuff. And your camp is there. Probably everyone who you've ever known is watching you. It's your first UFC fight. You know, everyone's watching this one. Maybe not everyone's tuning into the next one. Everyone's going to see your first fight.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy, man.
So I think we went straight favorites on this, you know, depending on how the Shaw-Mitrione fight closes out. But we picked favorites in all the other ones. I think we have pretty good reasons. I don't know.
Well, sometimes, like I've said this before, sometimes the odds makers get it right, man. You know,
sometimes they're just right.
Sometimes I've seen fights before.
That's their job, you know, to kind of assess these things.
A lot of times I've picked the underdog. You know, I'd say probably 1 out of 5 or something.
Yeah, usually.
One out of every 5 or 8 fights, I'll pick the underdog. But it's hard to catch that if you gotta. That's the ones you're looking for. You know? That's why parlays are popular. You got to
be careful with them because there's always one flake in the bunch. But
the undercard is really good. Study that.
Good undercard. Yeah, good point. Quick on that, actually, we can quickly kind of go through this. Ivan Menjivar is taking on Wilson Race, who's a late replacement for someone else who I don't actually remember who's replacing, but Menjivar...
It's always good to see Menjivar to fight.
Yeah, Menjivar's a tough guy.
He's got a lot of weird submissions he always tries for. He's super tough.
He's a slight favorite, too, minus 172, taking on a late replacement. I feel like he could be a good play.
You know, Ivan Menjivar, just a little, like... what do you call this? Fun fact or whatever.
Yeah.
Menjivar calf sliced Joe Lozon, and Joe Lozon's like 3rd fight ever.
Oh wow!
A calf slicer. Look that up. That's my fight for today. Look up Ivan Menjivar.
That's the connoisseur
and Joe Lozon
side of your brain coming in right there.
Yeah. Just stuff I remember.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I like
Watch
Menjivar
the
in that
calf
fight.
slicer though, man. That's a bad submission. It's gnarly. Like it'll hurt you watching it.
Yeah. There's another one here on the undercard. Miles Jury, who's undefeated. 6
3
wins.
knockouts.
6 KO wins, 5 sub wins.
I think
again, he's got one of these even sort of win records where he can win anywhere he wants. He beat Michael Johnson, too, who just had a nice win. He's taking on Mike Ricci, who is Canadian. You always have to be careful with these hometown guys.
That's
but he's a pretty big underdog, Mike Ricci.
That's
plus
Rory
321.
McDonald's best buddy there.
Yeah.
Mike Ricci, him and Rory Mack are good friends.
Oh,
best friends, yeah.
That's why they both have that way of dressing. Maybe.
He's got the little funky style.
I like that funky style.
Yeah, man. And,
but I'm picking against Ricci in this one. I'm going against him.
Yeah, Miles Jury's on a streak.
I think Miles Jury has like 6 of those 12 fights. He's won like in a minute.
He knocked out the guy from Chuck Liddell's camp last fight. Oh God, my name's slipping. But I remember Chuck's trainer John Hackelman talking about how hard the guy hit, and then Miles Jury came and knocked him out.
Yeah, nice.
So if you know,
yeah, Miles Jury, he seems like a power guy. Like he could
hard,
just hit you. But yeah, and then another weird stat here: Mike Ricci has alternated wins and losses over his last 7 fights, and he's coming off of a win. Which, if this trend continues, sort of suggests he will lose. So there's a few factors working against Mike Ricci there. But the last one I just wanted to mention here was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Yeah.
Everybody's pretty psyched up about him about 2 years ago. He lost a fight.
I think he's only... Did he lose
Then
to
he took
Mike
like a
Brown?
year off. Yeah, he lost to Mike Brown, who's on this.
Man, that was a hell of a fight.
That's starting to look a lot better now, right?
That's not bad to lose to
As
Mike
Matt Brown, as
Matt Brown,
as Matt Brown just keeps winning fights, that doesn't look that bad at all. But yeah, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he's 7-1. He is a 5-time world kickboxing champion, which I think
gets awesome hook.
That gets a lot of people excited.
That hook kick knockout where he like brought his leg, like that was cool.
Yeah,
that was a cool technique.
Flashy striker. If you're tuning in for the undercard, keep an eye on him. He's fighting this guy Chris Clements. I don't know a lot about him. I do know that he's 37 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a striker. He's got 10 of 11 wins by
is gonna be a
KO.
good
So.
fight.
That'll be a stand-up fight between those guys.
Chris Clemens is a kickboxer. He had a good amateur record if you look that up. I think he's like 24-0 or something.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
What is it, 10 of 11 by KO?
Yeah.
Yep. He's a good fighter,
Maybe
man.
Closer than the experts think on that one.
Yeah.
You know, maybe be careful with that.
Let's watch it. Good undercard fight. Great undercard.
I'm going Thompson in that one, too. I'm picking a lot of favorites on this card, but...
You know what you gotta love about the undercard?
Yeah.
It's always free.
Mm-hmm.
It's always free, man. Always.
Fox Sports 1, which is a pretty sexy-looking channel these days, actually.
I like it.
It's not bad.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all we got for you on UFC 165. Any final words?
Go have a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Go have a Pabst Blue Ribbon. There you go.
Talk about that boxing match.
Oh, the Mayweather-Alvarez. Do we have a few minutes on that?
Canelo. Let's just.
Were you able to watch the fight?
Mayweather's too fucking slick, dude.
He's too good.
He's too fast. He's got too much defense. I mean, the first couple of rounds, Canelo came out and tried to fucking do something. He was good, but after a while, I think what happens is boxers get frustrated, man. You can't even fucking touch the guy.
Yeah, you're just hitting his elbows, and that like hurts your hands,
you
know,
man.
and like
it
you're just hitting
gets frustrating.
You're punching the dude's
and
hip
he's just
and
sticking his jab in your face the whole time. 1-2, and maybe every once in a while you catch your right hand.
Yeah.
You get frustrated. Let's talk about the judge for a second.
Yeah.
Can somebody shoot him or something? Can we not get him to ever judge again?
Right. I think aren't most jobs measured by like performance, like how you do?
I watched the fight.
Like,
I watched the first like 6-7 rounds, kind of fast forwarding.
It was really
through some
late
spots.
at night.
Yeah,
if you were watching it live.
It came on at like 1. I heard.
Well, after 40 minutes of entrance music and rap songs and stuff, you know, you end up at
Justin
1 o'clock in the
Bieber
morning.
coming out with Floyd Mayweather. I heard, right? Mm-hmm. That was retarded.
So I think Alvarez will be back. Hopefully, you learned something from this. But yeah, Floyd Mayweather. You know, anytime like you get a guy like Alvarez or one of these real close fights. De La Hoya, all these other guys, like he always comes through.
Boxing's a great sport.
He's just a really smart fighter.
Boxing's a great sport. It's a real sport, you know. Yeah. That's why we do MMA, because some guys are so defensive. It's not exciting. It wasn't exciting in the least.
Yeah, if you paid $75, I don't know if you're totally satisfied.
Hell no. Four fights for $75 that all went to decision.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good boxing if you're a boxing fan, but...
Right.
Dude, come on. You get if you pay $50, you're getting submissions and knockouts and everything in MMA. So.
Yeah, at least more likely, right?
Watch MMA.
Watch MMA. I think it's a little... it's in a better state than boxing. I think nobody... It's
Go watch
it's hard to argue that,
Ivan Menjivar, Joe Lozon. You'll like it.
Check that out. All right, well, till next time. This is Dan Kennard and Cale,
the Shaman. Yeah.
Loveridge. Signing off. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace!